don't know when you're watching this. Anyway, good morning, church. Or should I say good day, because I don't know when you're watching this. Anyway, we are so glad that you're joining us. Thank you for being here today. We would like to know who's out there. So would you please comment that you're watching, or that you have watched, or even if it's later, even if you're watching it on Monday, that's okay. Just let us know who's out there so we can see and visit with you and connect with you a little bit, even in these crazy times. Listen, it is my prayer that you would open your ears, open your hearts to what God has for you. It's my prayer for all of us that we would all grow in knowing who Jesus is and growing closer to Him. Anyway, that being said, let's get to it.
We're so glad you guys are here. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It was a really nice time. There were some of us that met here on Thursday night and just had a great time, and hope your time was good too. And Thanksgiving season, it can continue all year long to be thankful. God has given us so many things in the midst of crazy stuff going on. We can always celebrate and praise that God never changes. Things in society, all kinds of things. Every day, the world is changing and things are getting crazy, but God we can count on, and He stays the same every day. Would you stand with us as we sing our first song, Bless the Lord? You may be seated.
That you
sing. And oh, what a song my heart keeps singing. Jesus, you love me, and I love you, God. Nobody loves me like you love me, Jesus. I stand in awe of your amazing ways. I worship you as long as I am breathing. God, I worship you, forever worship you. Nobody loves me like you love me, Jesus. I stand in awe of your amazing ways. I worship you as long as I am breathing. God, you are faithful and true. Nobody loves me like you. Nobody loves me like you love me, Jesus. I stand in awe of your amazing ways. Nobody loves me like you. Nobody loves me like you.
Be asking yourselves, who is that masked avenger? It's me. It's Josh. And I'm really excited for 2020 because everybody gets to feel like a superhero because we get to wear masks all the time. No. I'm just trying to put a good light on things, you guys. Lighten up a little bit. Welcome to The Journey. My name is Josh. We're all about loving God and loving people boldly, humbly, and authentically. We want to be on a journey together towards God and who he wants us to be. Oh, hi, Maddie. This is my daughter, Maddie. We've got a connection card. See this card? Do you want to show them how this works? This connection card can be filled out and is torn off and put in the basket if you have any prayer requests or questions, or you want to tell us that, like, the bathrooms need to be cleaned or something like that. You know, you can put that in there too. It's okay. It doesn't have to be spiritual. It could just be normal human stuff. Anyway, another thing that we've got going on that we are all doing together is coming up with a new brand identity for the church. There are these little voting cards in the back, so you can kind of pick your favorite, put some comments on there. We're just trying to get some feedback from people, like what's your first, second, and third favorite. You can do that at the end of service, or if you grabbed one. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. I'm going to pray. I'd ask you to pray with me for a little bit, and then we'll get back to some more worship. We don't have kids' church today, by the way. I just wanted to let you know that. I was informed a minute ago. Okay, God, thank you so much for this morning. Thank you for all these people with us here in person and the people who are watching online. Please bless them. Please bless their day. Bless our time together, our time listening to the message that Devin's bringing to us. And I ask you to speak to our hearts with it. In Jesus' name, amen.
I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard tender whispers of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. And who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Would you stand with us on this last song, please?
Blessed be your name, the land that is plentiful, where streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name, when found in the desert place, nor walk through the wilderness. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name, when the sun's shining down on me, when the world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name, on the road marked with suffering, those pain in the offering. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name.
Thanks for worshiping with us. You may be seated.
Printer forgot. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, it is a good morning. That's more better. I would, I would still have my mullet. I was going to get a haircut because I think they're going to shut that down again. It's scary. Well, thanks for joining us again this morning. We're so glad that you're worshiping with us. Like Teresa said, thanks to all that brought food on Thursday. It was awesome. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. COVID holidays, man. It's weird, right? I mean, even Black Friday was weird. It was abnormal. I didn't know what to do. It was just strange. Who'd have thought it was all going to last this long? I don't know. A reminder, if you're comfortable wearing a mask, please do so. We have extras in the back, and if not, That's okay too. Nobody's here to judge you. We're not about making anybody uncomfortable. We're all going to respect the decisions of others. But we're glad that you're here. And we're glad you're here online too. We're excited that you're here. You know, I would encourage you, if you're watching online, if you would just pause all the other things that you might be doing. You know, you're maybe doing dishes, or you're maybe doing other things, or whatever. And would you just engage with us? Would you just take this time when you're here at the journey, or when you're there at the journey, and just engage? We would love to know who's watching. Please comment, and just tell us who's there. But more importantly, just engage. Take this time to really focus on how God is maybe speaking to you this morning. You ought to be committed. We chose that title for 2 reasons. And I want to jump in and I want to tell you one of the craziest stories in the Bible. I think let me set the scene. Jephthah is our main character in this story. And to give you an idea of who Jephthah is, we have to go back to his dad. His dad hooked up with a prostitute, and thus begins the life of Jephthah. That's how he was born, right? So he grows up this half-brother in this family, and when they get grown up, the brothers kick him out. There's no way you're going to have any part of this inheritance or this land or whatever, and they kind of kick him out. They run him off. So he's a wanderer. And soon, because he's a natural leader, he has a whole gang of wanderers following with him, right? He's running a little gang. So at that time, Israel's at war with the Ammonites, and they're getting their butts whooped. Now, this is the Devon version, obviously. they're getting their tails. Anyway, so the brothers who are getting defeated, they go back to Jephthah, or they send word to Jephthah, and they ask him to join the battle and come and lead the armies of Israel. And he's like, but you kicked me out. And they're like, yeah, we're sorry. That was a bad thing for us to do. And besides, we're going to let you be the ruler over all of Gilead. And so he agrees. He says, yep, okay, I'll do this. So the first order of business is to ask the enemy why they're attacking. Why are you attacking us? What's the deal? And you stole this land. No, God gave us this land, he says. No, we're going to kill you and your little dog too. Well, again, my version, sorry. You really should read you should read it yourself. It's in Judges 11, because you don't want my version. But I will read this part because this is important. Here's what I wanted to read. That's kind of the backdrop of the story. Judges 11, verse 30, it says, and Jephthah made a vow to the Lord, and he said, if you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. Okay, so like, some of you have pets, right? A lot of you have pets, right? I'm not counting cats because they're not really a pet. They're just a thing. Anyway, sorry. Okay, puppies, specifically puppies. If you have puppies and you come home and you've been gone for a while, like especially if you've been gone for a few days, what happens? Right? You get these little, they jump up on you and they just scurry about and they're crazy for you and they're excited over you. And that's what dogs do. And I don't know if Jephthah had a puppy that he was willing to, I don't know if he had goats in there or chickens in the house. I don't know. You know, it's a strange, they did things differently back then. Anyway, God honors his request, and he absolutely crushes the Ammonites. I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but he does. It just blows them away. And then he goes home, and 3 verses later, this is what it says in Judges 11. It says, when Jephthah returned home from Mizpah, his daughter came out to meet him, playing on a tambourine and dancing for joy. She was his one and only child. He had no other sons or daughters. And when he saw her, he tore his clothes in anguish. "Oh, my daughter," he cried out, "you've completely destroyed me. You've brought disaster on me. For I've made a vow to the Lord, and I cannot take it back." What happened? What's happened? This guy made a crazy vow. He ought to be committed. She says, "Dad, you made a promise to God. Do what you need to do." The story goes on. She asked for a couple more months so she can go off and weep with her friends in the hills. It is about not being married and whatever, and he grants it. He says, "Yes, but then you have to come back." In Judges 11:39, this is one of the saddest ones. When she returned home, her father kept the vow that he made, and she died a virgin. Is that not a crazy story? Is that not one of the weirdest stories in the Bible? And we all wonder, why did he follow through? Why did he do that? And we all ask that question because our current culture would never, right? There's just no way. But if you were living in Jephthah's day, they wouldn't say, why would you make such a, they wouldn't ask, why did you follow through with the vow? They would say, why did you make such a crazy vow? The whole thing is weird, insane maybe. It doesn't set well with us. Let's put that on the back burner. What we know about Jephthah is that he was committed to his word. He was committed to God. No one can question that. Commitment. What is the deal with commitment? Why don't we? Why should we? I want to look at that today. I want to start by saying that I believe that God values commitment. I'm not just talking about in marriage or in relationships or whatever. I'm not talking just about commitment to God, although that's huge. We struggle with commitment as a culture. I mean, like, hey, do you want to go do something on Friday? I don't know, maybe. Ask me Friday morning. Right? I mean, that's kind of the thing. We can't even commit to an hour of our time. And we're committed to come to church, but sometimes we're committed an hour a week. Why do we struggle with this so much? As a culture, I think that we do. And I'm not talking to anybody specifically. I'm talking to all of us. Like I say, as a culture. So we're going to talk about a couple things. One of the reasons that we struggle with this is we're overcommitted. We're overcommitted. Our lives are filled with stuff that does not eternally matter. Think about that for a second. Our lives are filled with things that honestly, do they matter? Think about your upcoming week. What does your week look like? What kind of things do you have in there that eternally matter or that don't eternally matter? I'm not saying that they're bad things. I'm just saying that our lives are filled with stuff that doesn't eternally matter. Why are we so busy? Paul encourages us to use our time wisely. In Ephesians 5, he says, "So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days." Man, I think that's so important now. So important now. What do we do with our time? Think about it. What does your week look like? What does your month look like? What does your year look? Look back maybe. What have you been doing? What have you been spending your time on? Does it really matter? Is it all that important? And I can look back at my week, and some of it's like, oh, you wasted some time. Wow. Paul says, make the most. Make the most of every opportunity. So that's one of the things that we struggle with. We have a hard time committing because we're overcommitted with stuff that doesn't matter. Another one is this, better options come along, right? Someone told me this is called FOMO. I don't know, have you ever heard that one? Fear of missing out. Some of us live like this, so we don't want to commit. That's the reason that we don't want to say, yeah, let's do something on Friday, because something better might come along. And we don't know what it's going to be. And so we don't want to commit. We're fear of missing out. I can't say yes because a better party, better job, better girl might come along, right? So we struggle with commitment. Or worse yet, we might say yes and then flippantly just break that promise because something better did come along, right? And the weird thing is we want this from other people. We want them to commit, especially when it's stuff that has to do with us, but we don't want to be that when it comes to them. What if we could say, yes, I'm in, and people could depend on that? That our word would be our bond, right? I mean, we all think that would be very, very cool, but at the same time, it's really hard, and we don't want to think about it for ourselves. I think if we could do that, I think that it shows that we value others over self. Don't get me wrong. It's good to say no when we can't, or even when we choose not to. I'm not saying that we shouldn't say no. Absolutely we should. Because again, we get overcommitted. We need to be careful about what we say yes to and what we say no to. Another reason that we have a hard time with commitment, we struggle so much with this as a society, is we do not value our words. Think about this. It's lost its true meaning. I heard someone talking about a movie. Matt Damon was literally burning up the screen. Really? Literally? I don't think he's out there with a lighter, in the movie theater. It's just not happening. He literally lost its value. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. It doesn't really mean anything. And it's word choices. It becomes habit. I promise I'll do the dishes. I didn't say when. I promise has been pretty abused, hasn't it? Someone says, to be honest, I'm pretty leery of the honesty that's about to follow that statement, right? To be honest, I don't know. Or the classic overuse of a word, love. I love that car. I love that house. I love that game. I love that girl. Do we? Really? We just don't value our words. And then we say or sing, I love you, Lord, and it's lost some power. It's lost some of what it's supposed to mean because we don't value our words. And that's some of the reason that we struggle with commitment. So we struggle with it and we fight, but it's worth it. It's worth the fight. Commitment is worth the fight, and I believe God wants that from us, and so we do need to fight it. We need to think about it. Here's why I think it's important to keep our commitments and be willing to commit. Little girl comes up to me in the pre-K not so long ago, and I'm sitting in there filling in for somebody. And she says, Elijah lied to me. I said, oh, I'm sorry. What did he say? He said he would play with me, and he didn't. I kind of wanted to use this as a teachable moment. You know, boys lie. I was going to, but I didn't get into that. No, we built some Lincoln logs instead. But we do lie. We do that all the time. So do girls. But little kids, they call it what it is. They didn't come up to me and say anything about, you know, he broke his commitment. He lied. Well, that's what he did. He's a liar. What if we could see our commitments as that? Because we've taken them much too lightly as a society. We don't commit. And when we do commit, well, until something better comes along, we're lying. We must commit. All great things come from commitment. Think about that for a second. Super Bowl rings and Stanley Cups and the best CEOs of companies and the greatest musicians, the greatest artists of all time. It takes commitment, right? It takes commitment. You don't just land there. Why would we not commit to our marriage, our jobs, our friends, commit to the church, commit to Christ? Why would we not? We want those things to be great in our lives. And like all great things, we have to commit. We need to commit. Sometimes I watch a Christian movie. Have you ever seen some of the Christian movies? Sometimes it's okay, you know, but sometimes I'm really disappointed. I really am. I mean, I feel like this could have been great. It's a good story. It's a good storyline. But it just came across as super cheesy. Not all, by the way, because there are some great Christian films or Christians should be creating the best movies, the best music, the best food, the best homes, the best books. We should be the best teachers and roofers and factory workers and parents. Because if we're really following Christ, he's leading us into commitment. Commitment. Colossians 3, it says, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you're working for the Lord rather than people. He's calling us into this commitment. Whatever you decide to do, commit to it completely. Go all in. We want to take a biblical worldview. Like we want to look at our world and our choices and our commitments through a biblical lenses, you know? Well, I don't really want to work. I don't feel like working. Yeah, but what does God want you to do? If we're going to take a look at our lives through biblical lenses, what does God want you to do? I don't want to commit to this job or this relationship. What does God want you to do? That's a biblical worldview. So what commitments does God want from me? That's a great question. That's a question that we should be asking. What commitments does God want from me? Every year, I have the honor of performing a marriage ceremony or two. But I don't do these marriages, I don't take them lightly. One of my rules is that we have to have this pre-marriage counseling, this discussion with the couple to talk about, things before they get married. And I've never done this, but I kind of want to. I just don't want to offend. I want to ask, what would it take for you to leave him or her? What would it take? Oh, no, I would never do that. I would never leave. Yeah, what if he cheated on you? Would you leave then?
No, I could never. What if he cheated on you with your brother? Sister. Or either one, really. Right? What would it take? What would it take for you to leave? Because let's just write that into the vows. I will love him through sickness and health, unless he cheats on me with my sister. What if we put that right? Yeah, I know. Commitment. Here's why it matters. We finally get the courage to share God's love with somebody, or who God is, or how God has made a difference in my life with somebody, how Jesus has saved me by dying on the cross for my sins. And we're willing to tell somebody, and we're willing to share that. And they say, why should I believe you? Why should I believe you, man? You can't keep your word on anything. You can't even make it to the movies on Friday night with me. You can't even commit to that. You lie all the time. People don't think that way. People don't think, well, yeah, you don't. Yeah, I think we do think that way. I think that people, I think we're judging each other all the time, secretly. It's part of who we are. We try not to be. That's something we strive for here at the Journey, not to judge others in their situation and what they're going through. But let's just be honest. In a lot of situations, somebody's saying something, and we judge them on their words. We judge what they're doing, what they're saying. We have to keep our commitments. We have to make commitments, be careful about which commitments we make, and then we have to keep our commitments. What does Jesus really say on any of this? Because we can talk about Jephthah, we can talk about the Old Testament story, we can talk about the New Testament stuff and what Paul says, but what does Jesus say about commitment from Matthew 5:37? Just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. Yes, commit, or no, do not. It's really more simple than we make it. Sometimes we make it overly complicated. Yes, I will. No, I won't. Commitment. So what commitments should mark us? What commitments should be really high on our list? Things that we ought to do. We ought to be committed to what? Following Christ, that's number one. It's a number one commitment. It should be following Jesus. He paid a debt in full when he died on the cross for us. He should not get a half of a Christian in return. He paid in full, not a half a follower. What if there was no such thing as a lukewarm Christian? What if that did not exist? What if that really wasn't a Christian at all? And I'm not the judge. I'm not saying one way or the other. Number two, we should be committed to family and or our church family. We were created for family. It's important to commit to that. You don't want a half a pastor or half of an elder. You don't want worship leaders that are giving it a half an effort. Kids' church, we need to be fully engaged teachers because our church family matters. The message that we share with the community, with the world, it matters. Our ministry in this community, it matters. We can't do it halfway because what does that say? When I was a kid, I used to remember what we used to call church Kool-Aid. Do you know what that is? Yeah, it's the totally watered down Kool-Aid, right? They only put half of the package in there so that they could save 13 cents, right? That's disgusting. That just makes me angry. That's not what we're supposed to be the best. The best. Not half the Kool-Aid. I don't know. I know that's a silly example, but think about it for a second. We don't want to do things halfway. Plug into your church family. Membership, that's a sign of commitment, but it's just a sign of that. Plug in. Number 3, things that we ought to be committed to: serving. Because God calls us to this in the Bible, I think it's hard for us to overlook this. We're called to serve. You need to commit to serving other people, your family, your neighbor, your spouse, your church. Serve. Commit to it. Commit to it. We have lots of opportunities here at the church. There's a lot of people. There's a few people doing a lot of things. It's some of it could be as simple as going to Kessler's on Sunday morning and picking up all the donuts so that they're here. Some of it could be teaching at children's church, or greeting at the door, or running some of the tech, or helping out with this or that, or maybe coming in time to wipe the tables down so that they're decent and clean around here. Maybe it's in the community. Maybe we need to be serving in the community and going to do things that other people are just not doing. Maybe it's bringing people stuff because they don't want to leave their house. They're uncomfortable with it. Maybe it's creating a better Christmas for somebody else. I've been inspired just this week by somebody who's doing that. Commit to it. Commit to serving. Wherever God calls you to serve, commit to that. And again, it's not kind of I might be able to, or yes or no. Commit. Either way, just commit. Will you help? Will you serve? Another thing that I think we ought to be committed to: love. Love, because love is a choice. It's not a feeling. It's a choice. We choose to love. Even when it's hard, even when we don't like it, we're committed to love others. There's probably tons of areas that I believe we should be committed to. These are just a few. Again, Jesus is the greatest example. One more week, we talk about something, we pick a topic, and we're talking about commitment and who greater than Christ. He committed to follow God the Father. He committed to the church, meaning us. He committed to us. Jesus committed to serve like no other. Jesus served others. He was all about that. And of course, Jesus committed to love all the way. He was all in. We go back to our story about Jephthah, who was probably crazy, who ought to be committed. He was so committed. We say, how could you let your only child die? Think about that. God, how could you let your only child die? Because you love us so much. Jesus died on the cross because he loves us so much. God did that. He did that for us. So committed. You guys, let's stop living half lives. Half committed to this and doing a little bit of that. Jesus paid the price for all of us. Let's give him all of us. Let me just ask you, where do you need to, where do we need to step it up? I challenge you. I challenge us take God seriously. Let's get committed. God, thank you for this time. Thank you for this opportunity to just get into your word and to think about what you're telling us. God, I believe with all my heart that's something that we lack at the journey. It's something we lack in our culture. But God, you can heal us. You can fix that in our lives, God. We're asking you, I'm asking you, help us to be committed. God, help us to choose wisely the things that we need to commit to. And we pray that, we ask that in Jesus' name. Amen. Josh, I think, has a few more announcements for us.
Hey, again, I'll try to be slightly less weird. Sorry. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks for joining us online, you guys. It's important to commit to the right things, you know. I was just thinking about this as Devin was talking. I've read that story before, and I was like, yeah, that's super weird. But you also read about the laws that the Jewish people had, and that was very specific, not to sacrifice your children. Like, that was one of the main things that was supposed to set the Jewish people apart from the rest of their culture. And Jephthah, I guess, didn't know about that. I don't know. But and then in Proverbs, it's all about, you know, don't make vows, don't make rash vows. So he was committed, but yeah, probably a little crazy. Anyway, if you want to be committed to the right things, you got to know the you know what the Bible says and what God's word says. So we've got ways to do that. We get together for small group on a regular basis. This week, I think we're going to be decorating for Christmas, right? So you're not doing your normal small group thing, but generally you get together, we study the Bible, we study books and some video series and things like that. I'm not quite sure what's coming up, but that's a really good way to like make sure you're committing to the right things. We also pray and ask God to show us, you know, what he wants us to be committed to. And so we have a prayer group every week at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. Am I getting that right? Yes. So that's a thing that you can come to. Just pray together, help God to, give God an opportunity to like speak to your heart, show you where he wants you to be committed. Also, you know, if there's anything that you need prayer for, you can show up, or you can just give your prayer request to somebody who's going to be there, and we'll pray for you at that time. So if you see, I'm really trying hard to connect all these things together. If you want to commit to, like Devin said, to helping, you can talk to us and get plugged into the Journey crew and be available to help in various capacities, whatever your gifts are. That's very much appreciated. If you want to help us out by giving, we don't pass a plate. We just think that sometimes can be a little awkward for people. So what we do is we have a basket in the back, and we put it out there. And if you'd like to help contribute to what we're doing at the Journey and pay for the donuts and help us do ministry in the community, you can drop that in the basket right there. And then it doesn't take very much commitment to just ask somebody to come on a Sunday or watch online. But we do want to share what's going on with the Journey. We think God's doing good things in this fellowship, this family of believers, and we want more people to be a part of it. So the last thing that we had, I just want to revisit the logo thing real quick and leave you with that. We got that on the screen. So can you put like the individuals A, B, C screens up real quick? Do you have that? Okay. So we've been working, kicking around some ideas. We've done some versions that we've talked about among ourselves. So these are 3 ideas that we just really want feedback on. These aren't necessarily the final ones, but one of them will probably be pretty close. And the way that a logo development process works is you kind of do a series of revisions, then you get feedback. just sense of what we're thinking. The first one is pretty similar to our current logo. We're just sort of tweaking it a little bit, the colors, cleaning it up, and making it say Journey Church rather than the Journey, just to clarify that identity as a church in the community. It's something that we've had for a while, so some people might feel some emotional attachment to it. So we wanted to give that as an option. Version B, is that what version B. This is very much a sort of an adventure-oriented, built around the idea that living with Jesus is an adventure, and that it's just kind of the beginning of the journey, not the end. And so, we're going on this crazy, amazing journey together, and so we want to give that kind of feeling of excitement. And then version C is a little bit more of a modern, clean style, still has that sort of wayfinding aspect to it. Chevrons are, you kind of see this in this type of symbol used in all sorts of things, but we wanted to give it a bit of a twist and put a cross in there and make it unique. So we're not stealing anybody's logo, but it does have some, elements that are similar to things that people might be familiar with. So those are the three, and then the journey, whatever logo we choose, it would have several versions of it that we'd use in different contexts. So these are just examples of what that might look like. So you'd kind of have variations of each logo version. So if you want to vote on these, if you've already voted online or in our Facebook group, awesome. And don't this isn't, it's not a vote early and often sort of a thing. So if you want to change your vote, cool. But just give your opinion once if you don't mind. If you haven't, we've got these little squares in the back, and you're welcome to use them. Put my first favorite is B, my first favorite is A, and then my second favorite is whatever one that is, and that just kind of lets us rank them and get feedback. So we'll take all that feedback in. If you have comments, you can put that on there, and then we'll make a decision on what the final logo is going to be and tweak that and finalize it and all that. So that's how that goes, and your feedback is a critical part of the process. So thanks for listening to my branding guy spiel. We'll leave those up there, kind of like this at the end of the service, just so you can take a look back at them if you want to do that before you leave. So thank you very much for your feedback on that. Thank you again also for joining us for Sunday, and we hope you have a great week.
Well, thanks again for joining us, you guys. It's an honor and a pleasure to be able to share with you. Listen, we would love to know, how can we be praying for you? Would you just let us know, whether you email me or whether you comment or whatever? There's links on the Journey Church page. Let us know how we can be praying for you. And if you've made a decision today, whatever that decision is, whether you're reconnecting, whether you're becoming a follower of Christ, or even if you decided to stop some sort of addiction, anything, whatever, any decision that you've made, we'd love to hear that too, so that we can continue to pray for you, because these things are challenging, and we know that, and God can do amazing things. So that being said, we'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this at all, we would love for you to like it and share this video with others. We love you guys. See you next week.